All right, so we're back and ready to jump into another deep dive. You wanted the breakdown of that Liverpool versus Manchester United match from January 5th, 2025. And, well, here we are. It ended in a draw, 2-all. But let me tell you, this was not your typical tie game.
Not at all. You know, it's really interesting how each manager approached this one. Both teams obviously wanted to win, but their strategies were like night and day. It was like a tactical chess match playing out on the pitch.
With Anfield as the battleground.
Exactly. Liverpool's home turf. You'd think they'd have the advantage.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Especially with Arne Slot at the helm. His high-pressing, possession-based style has become like Liverpool's signature these days, right? He usually sets them up in a 4-3-3, but when they're on the attack, it morphs into this ultra-attacking 2-3-5. It's all about quick transitions, overloading the opponent's defense, and just suffocating them with pressure.
So basically, flood the field and force the other team into making mistakes.
Pretty much. But Ruben Amorim, Manchester United's manager, he wasn't going to let Liverpool just dictate the pace. He went for a much bolder, more direct approach, setting up his team in a 4-2-3-1 formation.
Interesting. So it was clash of styles then. Liverpool wanting to control the ball and Man U looking for those quick counterattacks.
Yeah, you could say that. And Amorim clearly did his homework. He knew that Liverpool's right flank, where Trent Alexander-Arnold plays, could be vulnerable.
Ah, so he was trying to exploit that weakness.
Exactly. Now, the big question is, did either strategy really work? Well, both teams had their moments. Liverpool's pressure created a ton of chances, but Man U, they made the most of their opportunities. Let's talk about some of the standout performances, because they really brought these tactics to life.
Okay, so let's start with Lisandro Martinez. Not only did he score an absolute screamer for Man U, but he was a rock in defense all game. How did he manage to be so impactful on both ends of the pitch?
Martinez is a masterclass in modern defending. He might not be the tallest center back out there, but he's incredibly intelligent and anticipates plays like a chess grandmaster. He was shutting down Liverpool's advances left and right.
So brains over brawn, I like it. Now, what about Cody Gakpo on Liverpool's side? His movement off the ball was incredible, and he scored that equalizing goal too.
Gakpo was a constant threat, yeah. He's got this knack for finding pockets of space between defenders, making himself a prime target for those passes. And his movement really pulled Man U's defense out of shape.
So he was basically creating chaos for the other team.
Exactly. And then to top it off, he scores that crucial equalizing goal.
Now, of course, we can't forget about Mohamed Salah. Another goal for him, right? Was this just another day at the office for Salah, or did you see anything different in his performance this time around?
Salah's always dangerous, right?
Yeah.
But against Man U, I saw another level of intensity from him. His speed and dribbling were on full display. But he was also really pressing Man U's defense, forcing them to make quick decisions. He was like a shark circling, just waiting for them to make a mistake.
Always lurking, ready to strike. So we've got these big names all making their mark on the match. But then there's Amad Diallo. He comes off the bench for Man U and scores their second equalizing goal. How did he change the game?
Diallo brought a jolt of energy to Man U's attack. He's so quick and wasn't afraid to take on Liverpool's defenders, which really stretched the field and forced Liverpool to adjust.
It's amazing how a single substitution can completely shift the momentum of a match.
Absolutely. And that speaks to Amorim's tactical awareness and Diallo's individual brilliance. It was a great move that really paid off for Man U.
You can really see how both managers were adapting to the game, making adjustments on the fly. It wasn't a passive game at all.
No, not at all. It was a constant tactical battle, back and forth, each manager trying to outmaneuver the other. And that led to some pretty dramatic moments, especially towards the end of the match.
Speaking of drama, we have to talk about Harry Maguire's missed opportunity in the final minutes. Can you set the scene for us? What was going through everyone's minds as that play developed?
Okay, picture this. It's the dying seconds of the match. Scores tied at 2-2. Man U is pushing forward, desperately searching for that winning goal. The ball lands at Maguire's feet, just outside the box. He has a clear shot at goal.
This is it, the moment, right?
You would think so. But his shot, it goes wide, just barely misses the post. You could practically hear the collective groan from Man U fans around the world.
Oof. It's got a sting to be so close to victory.
It really shows how fine the margins are in football. One tiny change in angle, a little more power, and Man U could have been celebrating a massive win at Anfield.
Talk about a heartbreaker. And it all comes back to something we touched on earlier, that vulnerability on Liverpool's right side.
Right where Alexander-Arnold plays. Remember Ray Keane's comments after the match? He didn't hold back in his criticism of Alexander-Arnold's defense.
Oh yeah, Keane really went after him, didn't he?
He did. He pointed out a few instances where Alexander-Arnold's positioning left Liverpool exposed and suggested those lapses might have contributed to Man U's scoring opportunities.
So while Alexander-Arnold is an incredible attacker, his defensive weaknesses were exposed in this match.
That's what Keane argued, and it's a debate that's been going on for a while. Can a fullback truly be great at both attacking and defending?
That's a great question, and one that I'm sure we'll unpack even further as we continue our deep dive into this match. Stay tuned as we explore the individual brilliance that shaped this game in part 2.
All right, so we're back digging deeper into this Liverpool-Man U clash. We talked about the tactics, but now I want to focus on some of those individual performances. We're talking about some of the biggest names in football here. Oh, absolutely. A real constellation of talent on that pitch.
Yeah.
It's important, though, to go beyond just the goals and assists, right? We need to understand how these players, their individual strengths and weaknesses, how those things interact on the field. It's like a chemical reaction, you know?
Okay, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So let's break down these chemical reactions. Let's start with Lisandro Martinez. We talked about that incredible goal he scored, but you mentioned he was also a wall in defense. How did he do it? How was he so dominant on both sides of the pitch?
Well, I think Martinez is a fascinating example of modern defending. He's proving that you don't have to be the biggest guy out there to be effective. He's incredibly smart, reads the game so well, anticipates those plays, and he's not afraid of a tackle. Against Liverpool, who were constantly attacking, he was like a wall, just shutting things down before they even got started.
He almost seemed to know where the ball was going before it got there.
Exactly. It's not just reacting, it's about anticipating, predicting what's going to happen. And that lets him be in the right place at the right time to make those crucial interceptions and tackles.
All right, let's move on to Cody Gakpo. Now, he was causing all sorts of trouble for Man U's defense. What was it about his style of play that made him so effective?
Gakpo is a fantastic example of a modern attacker. He's fast, great dribbler, can finish with both feet. But for me, what really stood out was his movement off the ball. He was always finding these dangerous pockets of space between the defenders, making himself available for a pass and dragging defenders out of position.
Like a ghost popping up where you least expect him.
Exactly. And that makes him so difficult to defend against. He's not just relying on speed or power, he's using his intelligence, his awareness of space, to create chances for himself and his teammates.
Now, of course, we have to talk about Mohamed Salah. Another goal for him in this one. Did this seem like a typical Salah performance to you, or was there something different about his game this time around?
Salah is a goal-scoring machine, and his consistency is amazing. But in this match against Man U, I saw a different level of intensity from him. He was really pressing, tracking back defensively. It was like he was determined to dominate the entire game.
Not just score a goal, but really control things.
Exactly. His penalty was well taken,
Yeah.
sure. But it was his work rate, his leadership that really impressed me.
Now, let's talk about Man U's super sub, Amad Diallo. He comes off the bench and scores that equalizer. What changed when he came into the match?
Diallo brought an immediate spark of energy to Man U's attack. He wasn't afraid at all, taking on Liverpool's defenders, really stretching their back line and giving his teammates more space to operate.
So he wasn't intimidated by the moment.
Not one bit. And you have to give credit to Amorim for making that substitution. He saw that his team needed a boost, and Diallo delivered with that fantastic goal.
Okay, so we've talked about these individual players, but how did it all come together to create this intense back-and-forth match? Was it just a case of talented players doing their thing, or was there something more to it?
I think it's a combination of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw some brilliant individual performances. But it's also about how those talents work together, how players complement each other. And this match was a great example of these different personalities, different styles of play, all coming together.
So it wasn't just about individual players, but about the tactics, the strategies of the two managers.
Exactly. And that's what made this match so exciting, right? You had Liverpool, with their possession-based game, going up against Man U's counterattacking approach. It kept everyone on the edge of their seats.
It sounds like this match was about more than just the final score. It was about the journey, the moments of brilliance, the collective effort. It all came together to create something special.
Absolutely. And that's why this match deserves a closer look. It's like a perfect example of everything that makes football so great.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into this incredible Liverpool-Man U match. We've talked about the tactics, the individual performances. But now it's time to relive those moments, those edge-of-your-seat moments that had us all talk.
These are the moments that could have changed everything, the turning points that make you say, what if?
Exactly. And we have to start with Harry Maguire's missed chance in those final minutes. Expert speaker, take us back to that moment. What was going through everyone's minds as that play was developing?
Well, the tension was unreal, right? It's 2-2, the clock's ticking down, either team could still snatch a win, and then Man U is on the attack, building up this great play, and the ball falls to Maguire. Just outside the box, wide open shot.
It's the kind of moment every player dreams of.
Yeah, chance to be the hero. But his shot, it sails wide, misses the post by just a hair. You could just feel the collective heartbreak from Man U fans everywhere.
Oh, I bet. Talk about a tough moment.
It really highlights how small the margins are in football, right?
Yeah.
One tiny adjustment, and the outcome could have been completely different.
Absolutely. And it actually ties back to something we talked about before, that vulnerability on Liverpool's right side.
Yeah, you're right. Where Alexander-Arnold was playing. Remember all those chances that Man U created, including Maguire's miss? A lot of them came from that side of the pitch.
So Alexander-Arnold, incredible going forward, but maybe his defense wasn't quite up to par in this match.
Well, that was certainly Roy Keane's take after the match. He was very critical of Alexander-Arnold's positioning and how it left Liverpool exposed.
It's a tough balance, isn't it, for those fullbacks who are expected to contribute both in attack and defense?
It really is. You know, Alexander-Arnold's performance in this match kind of embodies that whole debate. Can a player really excel at both? Or is it too much to ask in modern football?
It's a question that goes beyond just this one player, right? We see this debate happening all over the Premier League, all over the world.
Absolutely. It's a fascinating discussion. And this match definitely adds fuel to that fire.
Well, we've analyzed the tactics, broken down the individual performances, relived some of the most memorable moments. So as we wrap up our deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this match?
I think it's this. Even in a draw, there's so much to unpack, so much to learn about the game. This wasn't just a tie, it was a tactical battle, a display of incredible talent, and a reminder that football is always unpredictable.
Couldn't have said it better myself, and that's what makes it so exciting, right? So to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this journey as we dissected this epic Liverpool-Man U clash. We hope you enjoyed the analysis, and until next time, keep exploring the beautiful game.